promoting bad behavior. Hey guys, welcome or welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Vish and welcome to the Magical Readathon reading vlog part 2. So I just finished work for the day, hence why it's dark now because I had a very busy day. Anyway, welcome to the second part of this Magical Readathon reading vlog. I'm very excited to continue. I still have momentum and I'm determined to complete this semester. So if you haven't watched part 1 of my vlog, I will link it down below so you can have a look at what books I've read, what prompts I've completed. I've already completed 2 prompts. Now there's 4 more prompts and 2 bonus prompts that I have to complete. I am currently reading 2 books that will fulfill 2 of the prompts. First one is Ruin by John Gwynne, and then the second one is Legend Born by Tracy Dion. So for Ruin, it fulfills the restoration subject, which is to read a book with a 4+ star average rating. And this is the book that was on my TBR. And then for Legend Born, this one is for animal studies, and that is to steal a book from another TBR. I stole this from someone's 25 to read in 2025 TBR. I think it was Emmy's video. Yes, these 2 fulfills those 2 prompts, and I am hoping to finish this by this weekend. This one I'm slowly reading until the end of the month. I've sectioned it out so that I can finish it by the end of the month. I think I'm a couple days behind for my section, but I will catch up. Don't you worry. I've just finished giving synopses of these 2 in my part 1 vlog, and it was a long one, so let's try and keep this short, shall we? So Ruin by John Gwynne is the 3rd book in the Faithful and the Fallen series. It is a adult high epic fantasy series that I'm really enjoying. This war is called the God War and has been going on for a very long time between Azeroth and Elyon. So it's a classic struggle between good and evil, and then after that war died down, there was another war that brewed between the giants and the humans, again side of good and evil. One was Azeroth's side, one was Elyon's side, and then now present day this war is brewing again, but there's a prophecy attached to this war where there will be avatars on both sides that will be revealed and the war will start again. Bright Star for Elyon's side and Black Sun for Azeroth. And in the first book, and so on really, we're trying to figure out this prophecy and who the Black Sun and who the Bright Star is. There's a lot of political maneuverings of all the different realms, who will be on which side, where the giants will stand. At this point is just a lot of political maneuvering, and the thing that I love about this series is the characters. We follow quite a few characters in this, and John Gwynne does character development so well. He also does plotting so well. There's just a lot of small things that he's moving, like a little chessboard. He's just moving small different things that come together in the end, or still is building to this day. His writing style is definitely accessible, so I have no trouble reading this at all. I just like to section my reading for epic fantasy just so I don't get burnt out, and it's been really working for me, which is great. With the POVs, it can get quite complicated because there's a lot of characters. Book 1 had 6 or 7 POVs, book 2 had 12 POVs. I haven't counted how many POVs book 3 has, but it's not as much as book 2, I don't think. Either way, I'm enjoying this so much and I cannot wait to finish this. I've heard that the end of this will ruin me and I am scared. But I'm excited to finish this for sure. And then my second read is Legend Born by Tracy Dion. This is the first book in a YA fantasy series. I'm on the 200-page mark and I'm hoping to finish this before the weekend ends. This follows our main character, Bree, whose mother recently died in a car crash. And before her mother died, she applied to this early college, which is basically only the smart people from high school get to go to. It's kind of like pre-college before you go to college. And she got accepted, and after her mom died, she's still going to go to this college anyway. And when she gets to the college, she goes to a party and she witnesses a magical attack. Demon was basically attacking humans in this area, and she witnesses 2 people fighting back with this demon, but other people, like the humans, can't see this attack. And once this magical attack was dealt with by these 2 people, they come to her and wipe her memory, but she still remembers everything that happened. And this actually triggered a memory of when her mother died, someone wiping her memory then too. So she wants to figure out why these two people wiped her memory, what's going on, and why her memory was wiped when her mother died. So she sees that correlation. She wants to figure out what actually happened to her mother. Maybe there's a bigger conspiracy going on. And she discovers that these two people belong to a secret society in this college called the Order of the Round Table. And this is where the Arthurian legend comes in. There's a hierarchy in this order. There are people called the Scions, which is basically people in the royal bloodline, which are direct descendants of Arthur and his 13 Knights of the Round Table. So there are 14 royal bloodlines in this secret society, and they are the Legendborns. They are the Scions. And then you have, I guess, the lesser Legendborns, where they are humans that are sworn into the order. And every year there's a tournament for these vassals, they call them, but they're basically humans that know the secret of the order. They run tournaments for them so that they can become squires. Think like Robin to their Batman, they kind of become sidekicks to these scions. So Bree wants to infiltrate this order, go through the tournaments to become a squire. And the way she does that is through Nick, who is a mentor that she's paired with when she's in college, and she figures out that he's part of this order. There's a war brewing at the moment between the Legendborns and the demons, which are called Shadowborn. They're popping up really frequently. There are more frequent attacks, so there's a war brewing. So there needs to be a tournament right now to figure out squires for these scions. This world is so interesting, and I am loving this world and like everything that I'm learning about this order and the Arthurian legend and everything to do about that. I love Arthurian legend and the retelling. Merlin is one of my favorite shows. Merlin, I forgot to mention, there are Merlins in this, and they are really powerful magicians, and they're the people that can wipe memories and kill demons and bond scions to their squires so they share magical powers. I haven't even finished this, but I think if you own this or like if you're interested, you should go read this. This is done really well so far. I really thought this was going to be like a fun YA fantasy series, but no, this has a darker tone to it because, like I said, Bree lost her mother. There's just so much grief within her, and she's grappling with it. She's suppressing it because sometimes in order to deal with a grief of that caliber, you have to suppress it. And she's changing as a person as well. She's distancing her relationship from her loved ones, and she's diving headfirst into this order, and dangerous things are happening for her as well. So really enjoying this. Cannot wait to continue and read more this weekend. I have 5 days off. Today's Thursday. No, today's Wednesday, and I have Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday off. It is Easter weekend, but who cares about Easter? It's WrestleMania weekend, baby. It's a WrestleMania weekend. If you don't know, I am a huge and avid fan of WWE wrestling, and it's WrestleMania weekend. Think Super Bowl, but wrestling. I don't know how much reading I will get done this weekend, but I aim to at least finish this and get up to date with this between all the wrestling. I'm very excited for my days off. Honestly, work has been so busy. It's taking up all my brain space. It's why you haven't seen a YouTube video in so long. At least when I'm filming this, it's been a couple weeks. So enough of that chit chat. This is a very long intro. I'm gonna go sit down on this couch and read for a bit. Hello. Last night I went out and I got a couple of things that I want to show you. So I went to the bookstore and I got Bloodmarked by Tracy Deonn. This is the second book to Legendborn. As I am currently reading Legendborn and I'm really liking it, I thought I might as well go and get the second book, and I also had credit at the bookstore, so this only ended up being like $8, which is great. And then I also went to Mecca, which if you're not in Australia, it's basically a Sephora but Australian, and I needed to get a couple of things because I've run out. I got the Charlotte Tilbury setting spray because I ran out and I really like it, and then I got this little brush for my concealer. I really needed like a dense brush to like blend it out because Beauty Blender doesn't work. And then I had another brush that really just places on the concealer. I needed to blend it out, and this would be good. So I got these two things. There's this thing that Mecca does as well where they give you a beauty loop box for members, and I'm a level 3 member. It's like depending on how much you spend is what level you are. So I'm on level 3, and we get free shit every couple of months. So the box consisted of this goodnight pillow mist that's like lavender and cedarwood. I used it last night. It smells so good. It's great. And then I got a free Brazilian bum bum cream that everyone loves, and I just think they're okay. And then I got this Bare Minerals Maximalist mascara. I'm very excited to use this. I do love mascara, especially like volumizing mascara. That'll be great. And then I got this Dr. Jart Hydro Plum Water Cream. I already do have a sample of this from my last Beauty Loop box. They're fine, so I'll definitely be using that when I can. And then last but not least, they gave a perfume sample of Floral Street, and the scent is like Wonderland Peony. Way too sweet for my taste, so I'm gonna be giving this away to one of my colleagues at work because I know she likes really sweet scents. Those are the things that I've hauled yesterday. Really excited to use these new makeup stuff, especially this mascara. Really love this pillow mist. It smells really good. I also got an email the other day from Fairy Loot. They have a subscription for a specific genre, and then each month you get a book for the month. I was subscribed to the adult fantasy box when it started back in like 2022, I want to say, and I only canceled it last year in like October-ish, September, because I was just seeing like the pics are not to like my taste and what I wanted, so I canceled it. And then they came out with a romantasy box. I got on the wait list when they announced it. I got in, and then I got one book, which is Lore of the Wilds, up here, and then I had a look at like the rest of the couple of months to see what books there are. I like to see what the book is for the month so I know whether I would like it or not. And I looked, and the next couple of books were just like not what I wanted for the romantasy subscription, so I canceled that too. But lately their picks have been really good, so I'm back on the wait list. Hopefully I can get in soon-ish. That's fine. And then they announced last year that they are going to do an epic fantasy subscription, which is what I wanted from the adult fantasy subscription. So this is a quarterly subscription, and I signed up for the wait list when they announced it, and I got an email the other day asking me to join the subscription. I'm so excited. The first book is going to be in May. I already know what book it is. I actually have an arc of it, which is really cool. First of all, I am very excited for the first book for the epic fantasy subscription. I cannot wait. I saw like the artists that are going to be doing the art for this book. It's going to be so pretty. I cannot wait. I'm definitely going to unbox it when it comes in like May, June. Another thing that's really exciting is that my girl Melissa K. Rourke, her Legacy series has been picked up by a traditional publisher. I think it's called Kensington Publishing. I'm not sure. I don't know if it's just for the US or like internationally as well. This has been picked up by a publisher now, which is so great. I love the series. This is my favorite series from her. I do like the Lady of Darkness series, but I really think the Legacy series is like god tier fantasy romance series. I love this series so much. This is like a dark fantasy romance series. Our main character is forced to be a source in this world where the elite fae called the Legacy, they need a source to replenish their powers, and lesser fae are the ones that become sources. And our main character Tessa, she unexpectedly becomes a source for the heir of the Arius kingdom, which is like the most ruthless dark kingdom. No one ever goes there. No one ever does business with them because they're like really evil. So she becomes the source for Theon, who's the heir of the Arya's kingdom. There's so much angst, there's so much toxicity between them. I love Luca in this, who's a dragon shifter, and he's bonded with Theon as like his second in command and like his protector, because all the dragons or the dragon bloodlines in this series and this world, including Lady of Darkness, because they're set in the same universe, dragons in this world are bonded with heirs of the kingdom as their protector. Guardian, that's the word I was looking for. They're guardians. I really do love Melissa K. Rorick's writing and her stories. Please go read this series if you haven't. If you haven't read Lady of Darkness, read that one first. I would recommend, like, that's my recommendation. I would ask you to read Lady of Darkness first before reading Legacy of Series. Nope, Legacy series, because I feel like you'd get more world building in the Lady of Darkness, and then the world building in this would make more sense because it's already been explained in Lady of Darkness, and I feel like the world building in there is more expensive than in here. And because the Legacy series is being picked up by a publisher, I finally ordered the second book because I only have the first one. I don't have the second and the third one, so I finally ordered the second book, and it should be arriving next week. So I will show you my copy. I'm very excited. I read all of them on KU when I was traveling last year in November, and then the third book at the end of last year. So I didn't get a copy for myself, but I thought I'd just slowly buy them. And then I have a dilemma. So one of the prompts for the Magical Readathon is inscription, which is to read the first sentence of a couple of books and then pick one to read. And in my TBR video that I did, I picked the Book of Azrael by Amber V. Nicole. I'm trying to hit two birds with one stone here because I need to also read a dragon book for my bonus prompt, and I'm trying to pick a book that I can use for the first sentence challenge, and also it has dragons, so I can hit those two prompts. The Book of Azrael, I've checked with my friend Jess, who's read this series. She says only the second book has dragons. So I don't want to read the first book and then go into the second book because I don't think I'll have time. So I think I'm gonna keep the Book of Azrael and read it for another time, which devastates me. But I think we should pick 3 books right now that are dragon books and then read the first sentence for those 3 and then pick one to read. So my options are Dragonfall. This one I own by L.R. Lamb. I got a Goldsboro version of this. Speaking of that, I also canceled Goldsboro a couple of months ago because, again, I've had that subscription for like 2+ years and it's always leaning literary, which again is not my taste. I'm so excited for Fairy Loot to do this epic fantasy subscription. I was a sub for Broken Binding, but for me, way too expensive because of like the shipping and everything, and it only does series, but I want like a book per month kind of subscription, and I think this epic fantasy one would be good from Fairy Loot. Even though it's quarterly, so it's one every 3 months, I'm still very excited for it. I'm trying to find like a perfect subscription for me of what I want. I already dipped my toes in so many, so hopefully this Fairy Loot one would be good. But anyway, Goldsboro edition of Dragonfall. This definitely features dragons. Long ago, humans betrayed dragons, stealing their magic and banishing them to a dying world. Centuries later, their descendants worship dragons as gods, but the gods remember and they do not forgive. Very excited for this. I've heard good things, but also mixed things, but I'll see it for myself. And then the other option I have is Firebird by Juliet Cross. Now, this just got released, and I'm so lucky because my library has a lot of new releases that are coming out, and I've put a hold on a lot of them. So Firebird was one of them, and it just came in the library, and I think I might be like the first person to read this as it came in. So I already have it sitting there in the library waiting for me to pick up, but I was going to pick it up at the end of April so I can read it in May. But if I do like the first sentence of this, I might read it now. I just got a sample of it from Kindle so we can read the first sentence together. But before that, the third option is A Fire in the Sky by Sophie Jordan. Becca from Becca and the Books read this recently and she really liked it, and me and her have pretty much the same taste most of the time. So I thought I'd give this a shot. And this is also in my library. I need to place a hold on it if I like the first sentence, but it's available there, and I also downloaded the sample of this to read so we can have a look. So let's start with Dragonfall, what the first sentence is. Oh, it's an epigraph. I don't know if that counts. Let's move on to the actual chapter. So, the first sentence is, I will share how I fell. That's it. That one's okay. And now let's go to Firebird. Okay, the first sentence is from a kind of the same epigraph thing. So I don't know if I'm going to use that. I'm going to use the first chapter. Oh, it's a prologue. Okay. The first sentence is, Melina, here's to my sister. Vino Aichi. That doesn't make any sense, but you know what? That's the first sentence of the prologue. Let's have a look at the myth of Medusa, which is before the prologue. First sentence is, Medusa was born a white dragon. Nice, nice, nice. Now let's look at A Fire in the Sky by Sophie Jordan. The first sentence of this is, dragons live. These sentences are not giving me much for me to pick anything because they're all dragon related. So what am I supposed to do? I think we should read a couple of sentences to make my decision. So, Dragonfall again. I will share how I fell, but first I must tell you what it's like to fly. That's pretty cool. And then we still got A Fire in the Sky. Dragons live. Everyone believes they are gone, the last of them annihilated in the threshing. Threshing sounds familiar. Fourth Wing. Now let's go to Firebird. I'm gonna go back to the prologue for Firebird. Okay. Melina hissed my sister, Vino Aichi. I ignored her summons again, continuing to peer out through the tent flap. So, not great, Firebird. So, I think it's between A Fire in the Sky and Dragonfall, honestly. But I'm trying very hard to read my own books at the moment. So, I think that I am going to pick Dragonfall by L.R. Lamb for the first sentence challenge, just so I can hit 3 birds with 1 stone, where I hit the prompt first sentence challenge, read a dragon book, and it's on my physical TBR. So I'm very excited to read this. I always love a good dragon book, so we'll keep that aside for after I finish Legendborn. We'll dive into Dragon Ball. It's alright. I will still read Firebird next month because it's already in the library. I put a hold on it and I'm gonna read it. Hopefully I can read it before I travel at the end of May because I don't want to bring my library book overseas, honestly, but it's fine. I am going back for another wedding at the end of May. I did go back to Malaysia in November for like 3 weeks for my cousin's wedding, and then my other cousin is getting married. We all thought the wedding was going to be in December of this year, but they moved it up to May because they just wanted to get it over with because they already signed their papers in January when I went back to Perth. I was there. So now they just kind of want to get the Indian ceremony out of the way. So I'm going to go back to Malaysia in May, at the end of May, for I think about 8-9 days. I'm very excited. I don't know what I'm going to read during that trip. The last trip in November, I read the Legacy series. Like I read book 1 and book 2 and a couple of other books in between. And that one I went for like 3 weeks. So that was a good reading time, honestly. I wasn't sleeping very much in that trip and I also got really sick. So I was reading a lot then. I don't know if I'll read a lot this trip. We shall see what happens. That is for May Vish to decide what she wants to read. Okay, so I'm gonna go and read some more. Speaking of reading, there's nothing really to update. I am now on page 200. I've hit the 200 page mark for Ruin by John Gwynne, and I am about 50% now in Legendborn on page 232. Ooh, we should take off one of the prompts now because yesterday I started House of the Dragon. So I love Game of Thrones. I love House of the Dragon. I've already seen season 1, but I didn't watch season 2. For some reason I was really scared. I don't know why. I'm such a wuss. But my colleague has been hounding me to watch season 2 for so long, and I'm finally watching it. So I've started season 1. So we can take off my bonus prompt, which is to watch a film or show with dragons. That's done. Maybe I'll watch an episode or 2 today. We'll see. Because today is Friday. Also, happy Good Friday. Happy Easter weekend. To me, it's not Easter weekend. It's WrestleMania weekend. That's only starting on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. This was a very long update. I'm so sorry. but I'm gonna go now, okay? I got a package, and I think I said before that I ordered the second book of the Legacy series, and I thought it was coming next week, but no, it came today. Let's open it together. Ta-da! Oh my god, how pretty is this? Yeah, love that. This is the second book of the Legacy series. This is so good. The third book is my favorite of the series, but I do love this book. I was also thinking that now that this is picked up by a traditional publisher, will the third book still come out in August? I'm actually nervous about that. Because if you remember the whole Spark of the Everflame debacle that's actually still happening, is that Penco got picked up by a traditional publisher for her Spark of the Everflame series, and Burn of the Everflame is supposed to come out like a couple months later, but it was been pushed back and pushed back, and then the news came out saying that it's going to be traditionally published. And Burn of the Everflame still hasn't come out because the previous books are being republished. So I think we just got, I want to say, Heat of the Everflame published, so maybe after this Burn will be published. But the point being is that I really hope the fourth book doesn't get pushed because it's being traditionally published. Really, really hope that doesn't happen, but I guess we shall see. Hello. Yeah. My reading has been severely disrupted over the weekend because it was WrestleMania weekend. It is now Thursday, and I only just finished Legend Born by Tracy Dion yesterday on my commute to work. According to my spreadsheet, it has taken me 12 days to finish a 500-page YA fantasy book, which is insane. Honestly, WrestleMania weekend did disrupt my entire reading schedule, but I don't regret it because it was WrestleMania season. It was great. All I did was watch wrestling and I barely read. So sit down, relax, grab a drink because this will be a bit of a long one, and I'm sorry about that. So I gave this 4 stars and I really liked it. I thought that it was really unique, and also it delved into a lot of topics that I really appreciate, and I thought it was really well done, especially grief. And in this there was also a lot of talk about slavery and racism, and I thought that was done well too, even though yes, I can't speak about that, but I can't speak about racism, and obviously I've experienced it being a person of color. So what I liked about this book, I really like the writing style. Again, really like the atmosphere and the tone of this book because it was really dark, as our main character Bree was going through really deep dark grief, and also the things that she was discovering about the Order of the Round Table and her origins of her magic and root magic that was very much to do with her ancestors, and obviously her ancestors were slaves, so again discussing about that as well. And because there was 2 separate plots where we're talking about Order of the Round Table and then root magic, it was very separate. I didn't know how it was going to come together, and obviously as I finished the book I understand how it came together, and I really liked the connection. I thought it was a bit of a difficult read because I thought, the topics of slavery and racism, they are more difficult to read, but I thought again it was really well done and I appreciate those topics in here. What I didn't like, there's not much honestly. I thought it was really solid YA fantasy, it just didn't give me that 5-star feeling. I also thought the grief aspect in this, especially like the magnitude of her grief, losing her mother, I thought, those emotions will slowly fade as we go through each book, but it was kind of resolved and moved on in this book, and I thought it was a bit quick. Maybe that's just how I process my grief. I didn't think it would be that quick, but I guess if we're talking about Niggly Biggly, bits about what I didn't like about this book, I would say that. There's also a love triangle in here. I think that I'm interested to see how it's going to play out in the rest of the books. I'm very excited to see what book 2 entails because of how book 1 ends. And my prediction about the something in here that was going to happen, very vague, I know, it came true, which is great, but I don't think this book is predictable. I think it was really good. There was a couple of twists and turns here that I didn't predict. I didn't even think to predict, so that was pretty good. It's just the main thing that I thought was going to happen happened, and that was great. The main thing that I'm taking away from this is how unique this magic system slash world is, the Arthurian retelling. I've never read an Arthurian retelling like this before, and I really enjoyed it. And I think that if you're interested in Arthurian retellings, or you just love a good YA fantasy series, I would highly recommend this. And I cannot wait to continue on with the series and see where things go. It's definitely going to be really interesting. And Tracy Dion doesn't pull her punches, honestly. Characters are dying left and right. Characters we've seen throughout this book. It was crazy. It was crazy. I did not expect that. And this finally fulfills a prompt. So this was Animal Studies, which is to steal a book from another TBR. I'll go through the prompts and check them off in a little bit. Let me finish my update. So once I finished Legendborn, as you saw before, I had to read a book that ticked off 2 prompts, which is Inscription, to read the first sentence of 3 books and then pick one, and then also to read a dragon book for a bonus prompt. And for that, I picked Dragonfall by L.R. Lamb. This is just a Just Jacket because I have the book in here. So I've been reading this from yesterday and today, and I have finally gotten to page, not very far, I'm barely in page 50. I have bad news, guys. I am very indifferent to this book. I was literally falling asleep. I was reading this morning that I actually took a nap this morning. It was not engaging. I'm not grounded within the world. It's very surprising because I really thought I was going to like this book because the premise is that we're following a dragon who's called Everin, and then we are also following a human called Arcady. So in this world, dragons were banished to a different world, and now presently in a human world, dragons are worshipped as gods. And then Everin heard a prophecy about himself being the last male dragon of his kind. He has traveled to the human world to bond with this human, Arcady. I don't exactly know what the prophecy is at this point because it's very vague, and also one of my issues, which we will get to. So Everin has traveled to the human world. He is disguised as a human and he's trapped in this world. And he needs to convince Arcady to bond with him, but then eventually he would have to kill them. So I'm not quite there yet as to him bonding, but Everin has met Arcady. Arcady hasn't met Everin yet where I'm at. So I'm not quite sure what is happening, because the qualm I have with this book is that we're not getting explanations about anything. We're thrown into this world. We're expected to know what's going on, and like all the different phrases and words were meant to know what's happening. No explanation what's given. So I'm not grounded within the world, and I'm not engaged with the story because I'm just so confused. But then also, once I've let go of that confusion, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna trust the process and keep going. But I've also read some reviews from my friends who've read this book, and not even, they DNF'd this book, and also other people on Goodreads. I don't have Goodreads, but I thought I'd go on there to see my other friends who don't have Storygraph and what they thought. They also said the same things. They've basically said that in this book, there is no explanation as to what's going on. The magic system, the world, everything is just thrown at you and you're expected to know. And I don't like that. And reading this at page 48, I can see that we're not gonna get explanations. I'm so confused. I'm not grounded in the world. I don't like it. This is told very weirdly. So it's basically a story being told by an archivist. It says here, herein lies first-hand accounts from the dragon Everin and the human Arcady Delga about the dragon scale prophecies. When we're in Everin's perspective, we have first person, but then also second person, because he's talking to Arcady through the story. So he's like, you wore this, you did that. But as he's speaking normally, like, I did this, I did that kind of thing. And then when you get to Arcady, I think it's just first person perspective, yeah. And then when we have other perspectives, they're third person perspectives. It's all over the place, and I'm not having fun reading this. Although, yes, the concept is really great, but the execution in here is not done very well so far. I know you're thinking, like, you're only on page 48. How can you know all this? I have a very good sense right now about my reading taste, so I know when I don't like a book very early on, which is why I went out of my way to see what my friends have said, because I trust their opinion and I know most of their reading taste align with my own. So I wanted to know what they thought. Was it just me, if I'm the problem instead of the book? After that very long-winded explanation, I'm gonna DNF Dragonfall. So before I said, I think it was in my last vlog when I DNF'd Riftborn, that I said that I can use my points in the Guild of Emporium and buy a scroll so that I can count my DNFs for a prompt. And I think I said I have to buy a scroll for 50 points. I was wrong. I checked the scroll. You can buy that scroll for 10 points, and every time you finish a semester you get 50. So I have plenty of points to count my DNFs for the prompt. So for Dragonfall, I'm going to use my points to let it count for a prompt. I feel bad because I feel like I'm DNFing left and right, but I've only DNF'd 2 books this month, which is better than February. Honestly, I think I DNF'd 3. And then also, one more update. Let's talk about Ruin. I have not moved. I am on page 218. I really need to catch up to my sections for each day. I don't even know where I'm supposed to be at, but I need to get back on Ruin. I'm still enjoying this, having a good time, still scared about it, but I will definitely get back to it. So let's look at the prompts and where I'm at. Okay, so here are the prompts. So for Legendborn Animal Studies, steal a book from another TBR, we've done that. And then for Dragonfall, it's Inscription First Sentence Challenge, we've done that. And then it also takes off bonus read 2 dragon books. So right now I've read Fireborn and then Dragonfall, so we'll take that. So now we have 2 prompts left, 2 books left. I'm already working on Restoration book with 4-star average rating. Hopefully I can finish this before the end of the month. It is the 24th today, which is my mother's birthday. I'm very excited for her, but also very sad that I can't celebrate with her, but I will see her in a month, which is great. But anyway, it's the 24th, so math. We have 6 days left of the month and we need to finish 2 books. The next prompt that I'll be working on is Alchemy, which is to read a book with all caps titles. So let me quickly grab that. So for this prompt, I picked a specific book that will fit this prompt and also a prompt on my year-long magical readathon. So for the month of April, my year-long magical readathon prompt is to read a book with River in the title. And obviously this magical readathon prompt is to read a book with all caps title. And for this I picked A River Enchanted by Rebecca Ross. This is also on my physical TBR, but I don't have it with me, so I borrowed it from the library. I've never read a Rebecca Ross before, and I'm very dubious about this because it feels like it's going to have very lyrical writing, purple prose, very magical realism, maybe, but I want to give it a try because I do own it. I have a Illumicrate edition of this when I did have Illumicrate, so I'm going to give this book a try. If I don't like it, I will DNF it, but I will pick a different book to fulfill the prompt because I really do want to fulfill the prompt for my year-long readathon because I can't really DNF that one. So I'm gonna give today to read at least hopefully 100 pages or so and see how I feel, and then I'll come back and let you know what I thought and where we can go from here. I can't tell you what this is about yet because I have no idea, but I know it's to do with a bard and music magic maybe. I'm excited to see what I think about this and what the story is about, and if I like Rebecca Ross's writing. Yes, I do want to give Divine Rivals a try as well. So that's the reading update. I know that was long, but yesterday was a new release day for the new Emily Henry, and I got a copy of Great Big Beautiful Life. I really want to read this very soon, but I'm gonna wait until April is done, Magical Readathon is done, and then I will pick this up. This is giving me Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo vibes because we have 2 authors doing an interview for a famously reclusive heiress. So it's definitely giving me Evelyn Hugo vibes. I'm very excited for this. It is Saturday, the 26th of April. It is crunch time. We have 4 days left until the end of April, and I still have these two books to finish. I am not even. Actually, I read some last night. Let me just update this. I'm on page 92, chapter 6. Not that much into A River Enchanted, and I haven't made any progress in Ruin. I'm on page 218 of Ruin. 4 days. Let me do this ridiculous math to see how many pages I have to read per day in order to finish. It's going to be insane, but it's crunch time, people. I have no choice. I did this to myself. I have about 900 pages that I need to read in 4 days. What's that? 225 pages a day. I barely read 100 pages a day. Okay, I need to focus. At least, I'm going to try and finish this weekend, okay? And I then also alongside need to read Ruin as well, okay? Can you tell I'm panicking? I'm panicking a little bit. I can still purchase points from the Guild Emporium to extend the Magical Readathon a little bit, but I really just want to finish it in April so I can move on to other books that I've been holding off so I can read in May. But it's alright. I have faith in myself, maybe. Anyway, let me talk about A River Enchanted by Rebecca Ross. This is a very pleasant surprise. My expectation of this was that this was going to have very lyrical writing. The magic is going to be very dreamlike. Is it real? Is it not real? I didn't think we were going to get an explanation to the magic, but surprisingly, we are explaining the world very well. We're explaining the magic system very well. Like, it's a very straightforward magic system. There's not really much explanation needed. I feel grounded in the world. I feel grounded in the magic system. And the writing is, yes, it's not lyrical like, Aaron Morgenstern or anything like that. And it's straightforward, but it's still like pretty. We have this Isle of Cadence, which is an island that's split into two, east and west, by two clans. This is very much rooted, I want to say, in either Scottish lore or Irish lore. Honestly, I'm so sorry, I can't tell the difference. History and geography is not my strong suit at all. So I need to do a bit of research about this, but I will, if I do, I'll get back to you. So the Isle of Cadence is split into east and west, east being the Tamerlanes and west being the Beckerans, the Brecken. In this isle, before the clans started living there, we had elemental magic. We had spirits that lived on this isle. We have water, fire, wind, and earth. These spirits live on the Isle of Cadence, and when men came to the isle, they basically had to live with these spirits, and they constantly have to give tribute to these spirits. And when these clans came to the isle, they were at peace, but then slowly but surely they were fighting with each other, and then they created the clan line that really separated them between east and west, and then this border was kind of made in blood. And because of that unbalance, the spirits are unbalanced on each side. So on the Brecken clan, they can use the magic to like weave things into clothing. They can hammer the spirit's magic into weapons, but they don't get the spirit magic, so they are not getting good crops. Their water is not so great. Their fires are dimmer. But then on the Tamerlane clans, they have great crops, great water, great earth to grow the crops, and then also the fires are always there. But the consequences is using these magics, weaving the spirit magic into the clothing or the weapons. The person that does weave the magic gets sick every time they do it. Girls in the Isle are disappearing, at least in the Tamerlane side. I'm not sure about the Brecken side because we're only getting POVs from the Tamerlane side. And then we have our main character, Jack, who used to live on this Isle of Cadence, but then was sent away to the mainland to learn music, and he became a bard. But then he got a letter from essentially the king of the East clan, Tamerlanes, to come back and help them figure out why these girls are going missing. They need a bard to do it, because apparently spirits listen to bards, like their music and everything. They listen to them. Not quite sure how that works yet. Wasn't really explained that much, but I'm sure we'll get more answers because we need more answers about Jack anyway and why he left. It's very interesting. I'm very intrigued in this mystery, and also I'm interested to see Jack's backstory. He has to team up with the heiress of Tamerlane, so the king's daughter, essentially, Adara. And Jack and Adara used to be childhood friends, and then obviously he left. And he never really liked her because they used to just kind of bully each other, basically. So now he has to work with her to find out why this is all happening. I'm very pleasantly surprised that I'm really liking this, which is great. I'm always wanting to like a book, so very excited to continue on and see how the mystery will unfold. I'm glad that this is a duology. If I really like this, I can pick up the second book next month. So I'm about halfway through this book now. Yeah, I told you I would sit down and focus. I did. I'm on page 245 of A River Enchanted. I'm so glad that I gave this book a try, and I'm definitely wanting to check out more of Rebecca Ross's work. So with A River Enchanted, music is like a very important thing. Music brings life and like hope to the clan, and it also is kind of like a tribute to the spirits of the element, because when the bard sings their ballads to them every, spring, autumn, whatever the season is, it's like a tribute to them. It keeps them calm. We get what we need from them. And Adira's mother used to be the Bard of the East, but she died a couple of years ago, and now Jack is back and he's being propositioned to be the Bard of the East. One, to satiate the spirits, and two, to find those missing girls. And he has to sing these ballads to each of the elements so that he can ask them if they've seen the girls, like what's happening, who's taken them, that type of stuff. But it comes at a cost. But honestly, this book has a really good balance of plot and characters, but I really like the characters in this. I'm definitely invested in them because when something bad happens to them, I'm upset for sure. And there's also a romance in this that I think it's really, really sweet. And I think that the tone in this is darker than I expected because of the missing girls. It's kind of like you want to frolic in this isle with the spirits, and then you also kind of want to cower and hide from them because they're very devious, wicked things that want to play tricks on you that you could die from. That's the vibe of this book for sure. But yeah, so far it's not crossing that line into the realm of books that I don't like, where it becomes really confusing and up in the air. So far it's very grounded. I actually don't know how this book will end because we're still trying to solve the mystery of the missing girls. We're also having a bit of politics between the East and the West as well, so I'm interested to see how that'll play and if it's connected to anything. Making good progress, but I'm gonna put this down now, then spend the rest of the night reading Ruin. Feel like I need to get about 100 pages in, honestly, tonight. It is 6:48, so I still have the rest of the night to read 100 pages. Reading 100 pages of epic fantasy is not the same as reading 100 pages with this, so it's gonna take me a bit longer, but I'm here, baby. I'm here to catch up on my reading. So happy Sunday. I have a bit of bad news for you. I could not stop myself from watching House of the Dragon. So I watched the last 3 episodes of season 2, and I have a really bad like hangover from it, or like, I don't know, what do you call it for a TV show? Like all I want to do is just be in that world. So what do? I'm watching Game of Thrones. Yep. I'm watching Game of Thrones. The last time I rewatched Game of Thrones, I stopped at the Red Wedding because it was just too sad. So because it was recent that I watched Game of Thrones, I'm just continuing on from there. So that's what I started doing. So the bad news is I haven't read much. I'm on page 262 of A River Enchanted. However, I did read a little bit last night of Ruin, so I'm on page 296. And also, I got a new notebook. It's so cute. I'm gonna write like my book notes and stuff because normally I just write it on like a notes app on my phone, and then once I do a vlog update I'd like kind of just delete it. But I'm like, why? I need those notes so I can refer back to when I need to do a review. So here we are, a notebook for that. It's so cute. I really do want to like actually use it for anything that I need book related. So yeah, I'm watching Game of Thrones and I feel shitty about it and feel guilty about it, but then like, girl, it's not that deep. It's not that deep, even though yes, I would like to finish this readathon at the correct date. Like, I'm like, girl, it's Sunday night. you have work tomorrow, Monday. It's Sunday scaries. Maybe treat yourself a little bit with TV time. But yeah, I'll do more reading in bed. I'm still hoping to finish River Enchanted soon rather than later. I don't have any updates, honestly, because I've only read like 1.5 chapters since yesterday. So nothing to report as of yet. Happy 30th of April, the last day of the magical readathon. So, I managed to finish River Enchanted by Rebecca Ross yesterday morning on my commute to work, and I ended up giving this 4.5 stars. I really like this, and I keep saying I'm so pleasantly surprised that I like this. And I take back what I said about how this has like a balance of plot and character. I really think that this is very much character driven. It's very slow. This is like a small town, but it's really an island of these people and their drama, and they deal in secrets because, as I said before, the magic in this with the spirits, they can use the spirits magic to weave enchantments into clothing or metal. The way they do that, at least with specifically with weaving, they have to give a secret to the magic in order to make the enchantment work into the clothing. So a lot of secrets are being kept and a lot of secrets are revealed at the end of this book, which was a wild ride. And of course, me following all these characters, I'm very much invested in them, and I was devastated in some parts, and I was like, holy shit, what is happening in some parts? Did not see quite a few things coming, which is great because I like being surprised with plot twists. So I really enjoyed this, and I really do recommend this, and I'm definitely going to pick up more Rebecca Ross's books for sure. The romances in this were really sweet, and I appreciate the discussion of being vulnerable with your significant other and how hard it is, even though everyone keeps saying like it's easy, you just talk to them. No, sometimes being vulnerable is very hard, and you can definitely see that with these characters. Definitely want to continue on with the series. I did put a hole in my library for the second book, so I'm excited to go get it. I think today. I'll probably go get it today since it's already ready. And then let's talk about Ruin by John Gwynne. So I'm at the 50% mark at the moment, and since today's the last day, I don't know if I can finish the whole half of this. I do have a busy day ahead of me. It's still a work day, so we shall see. I probably have to extend this vlog a little bit until I finish Ruin, but this is my priority at the moment to finish before I pick up another book. So yeah, that means I would have to use my points to extend the readathon a little bit. So as I said before, I had 50 points when I finished the semester last year. I've already used 20, so to extend the readathon, I can use another 10. So that's 30 points altogether, which is great. But I am going to finish this book, hopefully very soon, and then we can wrap up this vlog. But for now, let's tick off the prompts that I've already completed. So as we can see here, we just finished A River Enchanted, so we can tick Alchemy, which is to read a book with all caps title, and River Enchanted did fulfill that prompt, so we can get rid of that. And then now we'll finish Ruin as we have only one prompt left, which is very exciting. Okay, I'm gonna continue on with my workday and try and finish some of this today. I'm hoping to get to like maybe 60 to 70% in today, hopefully, so we can see. I feel like 60 to 70% is like, I don't know, 200 pages ish, which is a lot for me, especially with a high fantasy book, but I'm gonna try. I am about 504 pages in to Ruin, so I have about 240 something pages left. And guys, I am stressed. I'm so stressed. I thought when I got to the 50% mark, things were really slow. Not a lot was happening. Not a lot of exciting things are happening compared to the other two books. Like, it was a slow build to the climax. Like, still exciting things were happening. But then with this, I felt like we were just traveling a lot and nothing was being done, but obviously a lot of pieces were being moved so that we can have a stressful moment at the end. But the stressful moment is happening at the 50% to the end mark. Like, characters are dying left and right, and I am very sad about one character, and it's just so tragic. And then right now, like, things are happening that are infuriating and stressful. There's a character in here called Lycos that is absolutely evil and I hate him and things are going his way and I don't want things to go his way, so it's frustrating me and I hate it. So I'm, yeah, stressed just to see how this is gonna go. I feel like this is definitely more plot centric compared to the other two. The other two still had a lot of character focus, character development so that the plot can move, but with this it's very plot centric for sure. We've built up a lot of tension and a lot of pieces throughout the last 3 books, and now things are moving and ramping up for the last book, Wrath, which I'm sure everything is going to go down and happen so that we can have that conclusion. So yeah, I'm stressed and I only have this much left and I'm scared. Very scared. And I will say this has a lot more animal deaths slash killings, and it's sometimes very hard to read for sure. A lot of gore when it comes to animals, because animals in this are used as like companions or, you know, for war, stuff like that. So it's very hard to read when they're killed. So definitely beware for the series as a whole, but really for this 3rd book. But other than that, while I'm stressed, I'm trying to calm myself with 2 obsessions that I've had recently, and that is mechanical keyboards. I already have one, but I want another one that sounds and feels a little different. The one I have is, I think, linear switches, but they're red switches, which is fine, but I want a little bit more foam and also different switches that make a nicer sound, more heavier sound. So I want one for my office because this one stays at home, which I love, and then I want one for the office so it's a little bit more compact. But I do want the numpad. It's very essential with work, but it's hard to find compact keyboards with numpads with the switches that I want. Very complicated. I'm still learning. And the other obsession that I have is the Labubu dolls. I desperately want one. They're so cute. And I know a lot of people are obsessed right now, and I want one, but I can't find one here in Melbourne because there's only 3 Pop Marts in the whole of Melbourne, always constantly sold out. But I will be going back to Malaysia in mid-May, and I know there's a lot more Pop Marts there, so I'm going to go and find maybe 1 or maybe 2 for myself to buy and be joyful about it. If you have one, let me know, and let me know which one specifically that you have, because they're all so cute. I'm also experiencing a little bit of a TV show hangover right now. I finished House of the Dragon, like I said the other day, and I'm watching Game of Thrones. But I'm realizing that Game of Thrones is actually much more inferior to House of the Dragon, which is taking me by surprise. I've always loved Game of Thrones, except for the last season. I feel like obviously they fucked up. But with House of the Dragon, they just took everything that I loved about Game of Thrones and made it better. And like, what I liked about Game of Thrones was the Targaryens and the Stark. And now we have our own show for Targaryens with the dragons and the honor and the blood and the politics. And I love it so much. The Game of Thrones just looks whatever and fine to me, which is crazy to say. So I've stopped my Game of Thrones rewatch because I'm bored. So I'm in limbo where I don't know what I want to watch. So I've been watching nature documentaries like I usually do. I grew up watching Animal Planet, National Geography because my brother is obsessed with animals and animals is his thing. So I watched a lot of nature slash animal documentaries growing up. So it's like a comfort thing to me. So now that I don't know what to watch, I'm watching this documentary called The Island of Seawolves. And this is basically all the animals that reside in Vancouver Island. And it's beautiful, it's glorious, and it's a really good documentary if you want to watch it. It's on Netflix. So I'm gonna go on with my work day and try to read more of this and not be too stressed, but I will because things are happening. So I finished Ruin this morning, and I'm not having a good day. I'm not having a good day, okay? Today is my first day of my time of the month. TMI, who cares? Everyone has it. I finished this, and is as it's displayed in the title, as I've been saying this whole vlog about this. I was ready, but then I was also not ready for the emotional turmoil. Like, how am I meant to give this 5 stars when it has destroyed me emotionally? You know what I mean? Like, why am I rewarding this book with a 5 star when it's destroyed me? You know? Why am I rewarding bad behavior? Nonetheless, it's getting 5 stars, guys. Like, these books are not small, right? They're thick. I spent so many hours with these characters and this story. Even though, yes, it's only a 3rd book, I feel like I've spent a lifetime with these characters and like I'm invested in them. And like when things go wrong, I'm impacted by them. I take back everything I said about, not take back, I will say, yes, The first half of this book was definitely not fast paced or anything like that. It was very slow going, and it was setting up for a crazy half of this book. And I appreciate the build up for that. So I guess I still feel that way, but I don't take it back when I said that this book was a little bit slow and boring. And if you're looking for a epic fantasy to dive into that has great characters and that has classic fantasy tropes but executes them very well, also puts a twist on it as well. I think so far this series has been done really well, and I actually ordered book 4 yesterday. It should be coming in today, and I'm excited. I actually kind of dove into book 4 after I finished this. I just kind of wanted to know, and I've read one or two chapters so far. I'm not gonna like continue on. I have the ebook from my library out, so I've been reading that. But yeah, this means that I have completed Magical Readathon Spring Equinox 2025, and it's only May 2nd, so I've only strayed 2 days, which is great. I couldn't put this book down after the 50% mark. So let's mark off the last prompt that I was working on. All right, last prompt. Everyone fulfilled the subject of restoration, and that is to read a book with a 4+ star average rating. Can't see why it has 4+ star average rating. That's done. And wee! Lots of dogs. I do really like this app, by the way. It's my main to-do app. It's actually called To Do, but spelled French, I guess. So now that I've completed the spring equinox of this magical readathon, I am now a step further into my studies of being a healer and a beast master, and now I also have my dragon riding certificate or license. And if you've been following the magical readathon, every time we or all of us hit 1,000,000 pages or so, G reveals a dragon, and I've seen all the dragons right now. My favorite so far is the celestial dragon and the ember dragon. I'm just holding this now for comfort, honestly, but I cannot wait for, I think September will be the next semester, and that is the autumn equinox 2025. It's going to be a bit difficult because autumn equinox means there will be grades involved. That means more books that I have to read, but we shall cross that bridge when we come to it. So let me know how you went in your magical readathon spring equinox semester. If you made it to the end of the vlog and you don't have anything to comment or anything to say, let's leave a star emoji in the comments if you read The Faithful and the Fallen. You know, thank you so much for watching this vlog and making it to the end. Like this video if you like it, subscribe if you want to, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.